Passion and determination. Word 16-year-old Ben Cousins lives by.
I love the competition. I love being able to work hard and having it pay off in the end.
At 160 pounds, the junior wrestler at Kennedy High School in Bloomington is working hard to achieve his goal of a Division I scholarship, not letting anything get in the way, including autism.
I'm doing a lot better than what my mom or my parents or anybody could have expected of me, and I'm proud to say that.
Ben was diagnosed with autism at 2 years old, and there were times he was deemed a dangerous child.
2 words: wild animal.
Ben even had a phobia of being touched. Imagine that for a wrestler. But through therapies and hard work, he's overcome his fears.
The fact that he comes in and he works so hard every day to overcome that and to achieve the things he wants to achieve in wrestling is phenomenal.
In his 30 years of coaching, Chuck Vavrosky says Ben's the first wrestler with autism he's ever worked with.
Well, I had some doubts about what he could accomplish.
But those doubts quickly diminished, and now feels Ben is a role model.
If everybody in my wrestling room worked as hard as he does when they come in, everybody would achieve high standards.
Okay, it's yours, Ben. Come on, take it.
This summer, Ben's determination paid off, qualifying for the Minnesota USA Cadet National Team.
We went to Fargo, North Dakota, competed with almost every state.
While Ben didn't win his weight class, he stood toe-to-toe with wrestlers from across the country.
Big honor for me to be among those elite wrestlers, to be considered one of the best.
Ben believes sports open the doors to a new life.
And they treat me just like any normal kid.
And now he wants to be an inspiration to other children with autism.
I feel honored to let everybody know that there's just hope. Everyone can be something special.
When we came back from the war, we were not heroes.
Joe Gomer is a forgotten hero, one of hundreds of black airmen whose stories disappeared with the anguish of World War II. But now that the community that didn't welcome them home
Duluth today is not the Duluth that I came here to.
is trying to give some recognition to these forgotten pilots.
His community should be the ones doing it, and not the federal government. Just Duluth should send it.
The city of Duluth is coming together now so a man who lost his own history can see another man make his.
It's such a piece of history. We've never had a black president.
Hundreds of Tuskegee Airmen have been invited to President-elect Barack Obama's inauguration.
Someone evidently figured that we deserved to be there, and we certainly deserved to be there because it was our success that really was a catalyst for this whole social change.
During World War II, Joe Gomer was just a young 22-year-old living in Iowa when he enlisted in the Army. The War Department sent him to a segregated Army Air Corps training field in Tuskegee, Alabama. And there, he was part of an experiment to prove black men could not fly. But Joe and the other airmen proved the Army wrong.
And I explained to him this was my country and I was willing to put my life on the line for it.
Tuskegee pilots escorted bombers into German-controlled territory, and even though they lost few bombers in their care, the pilots never received recognition for their bravery.
A pilot did come over to thank us for saving him, and when he got there and saw nothing but black faces, he turned around and left.
And when the war ended, so did their story.
But we didn't get any recognition at the time.
But now, more than 60 years later, their dream, their legacy, is coming full circle.
Well, it's just nice to know that success has finally come around. It's been a long time coming.
A long time for America's first black pilots, even longer for the country's first black president.
Well, like I say, I never expected to see it in my lifetime.
This is a huge piece of history. He needs to be there, and we need to get him there.
Duluth can't send all the Tuskegees, but they can send one of their own.
We should be that grateful to send him for what he's done.
And what he did helped turn a nation that couldn't call him a hero into a nation that's making history.
And I'm looking forward to the new America. Many of my friends gave their life and never got to see this.
With producer Kara Owens and photojournalist Andy Shilts.
Well, the time has come.
I'm Tim Blotz, Fox 9 News. They are four men, entrepreneurs, empire builders, who are now posters for fraud or ruin.
You know, obviously, this is, I think, our slice of the Gilded Age, and I mean, this is our little edge of that.
Twin Cities columnist and analyst Brian Lambert has watched them all. Tom Petters built an electronics business that was ultimately a giant Ponzi scheme. Raided by the feds and convicted in December of 20 counts of fraud, he now faces life in prison. George Wozniak built Hobbit Travel into a leading low-cost travel agency, facing massive debt. His business closed in December, leaving 2,400 customers without their money. More recently, there's Rudy Boschwitz. The former U.S. Senator founded home value remodeling stores, but his sudden bankruptcy has left contractors without money and employees without health insurance. And now, Denny Hecker, the one-time car king, is bankrupt and facing federal fraud charges. But Lambert argues it goes deeper.
And it's not just Petters, it's not just Hecker and George Wozniak and that stuff. It's the people, the smart people who invested, you know, with them, who by any normal run of events should have known better. I mean, where was the due diligence?
Whether it was greed or ego, consumers, even nonprofits got caught too. Both Hecker and Petters gave lavishly to local charities, which in part made everyone believers.
The Gilded Age element is you've got all these people who were able to gin up money, leverage money, based on an idea or their personality, and you know that's the house of cards that's fallen.
What's puzzling is, for years, these men were considered the smartest kids in the class. Now their pictures are just as shredded as an old yearbook, with new lessons for both entrepreneurs and consumers alike.
Apply intense skepticism. You know, it never serves you wrong. You know, if you just ask, you ask, really? Prove it to me. You know?
Pretty good for what I've been through in the last couple days.
From the scrapes on his nose and forehead to the gash on his elbow,
Scratched up
it's easy to see Chad Peterson is pretty banged up.
Really bad headache. My neck is sore.
What you can't see is how close Peterson came to not being here at all.
I'm really fortunate. I could have another inch one way or the other.
She was my world. She was everything. She was my only child at the time, and she was perfect in every way as far as I'm concerned.
It's been nearly 14 years since her daughter was brutally murdered, but for Angela McCormick, it still feels like yesterday.
I will never get past it. I'll never get over it.
This is Longfellow, Minneapolis.
For Nick, he's specifically targeting foreclosures.
You know, it's unfortunate that it's kind of at the cost of some people who are losing their homes, but it's an exciting time for me because